Well, thank you for joining me for that. We are in the dog days of summer, the hot, lazy time when you come in from the heat, you see the dog splayed out on the couch, tongue hanging out, and you think, I must be crazy. I should have been doing that all day. The expression dog days comes from an ancient Greek idea that the rising of the so-called dog star makes canines go mad. Our dog Daisy does look a little crazy at this time of year. Not dangerous, actually, she just looks really, really happy. She's got that dog grin from ear to ear. It's kind of like, and of the two breeds that she's made of, it seems she got the head of the smaller dog and the tongue of the larger one. So her tongue just kind of lolls out the side of her mouth while she sits there looking loopy on the couch. I know it's not really a smile. She wears a fur coat all year round, and huffing out little vapor clouds is the only way that she can cool down. But I like to think that she's happy too, because everything smells stronger in summer. And everyone has this glowing aura of fragrance around them. You know, as a human, I'm primarily led by my eyes, directing, selecting, consuming. When I watch something, I am ingesting it through my eyes. But Daisy's primary sensory input is her nose, which is far more powerful than mine. And now it's hard to explore this without getting a little bit trippy, but in my world of vision, an object is finite in space and time. I see a rotisserie chicken on a grocery store rack. It is there. It cannot be anywhere else. It has spatial and temporal boundaries. It can only exist in one place at a time. But in the world of scent, the rotisserie chicken does not have solid boundaries. The smell of it radiates out. So it's a solid thing in the middle of this cloudy mist of itself. And it can exist simultaneously in multiple places. It's on the rack, then I put it in my cart, but its scent still lingers on the rack. Its journey from the shopping cart to the conveyor belt to my van to my table is not just the movement of one single solid object. It's kind of a particle parade that leaves this floating vapor trail of confetti everywhere it goes. The scent of it lingers. Chicken bits that I would need a microscope in order to see float in the air. And when the chicken has been thoroughly eaten and the plates have been cleaned, it still exists for as long as the particles hover in the room. So for a dog, the whole concept of matter, space, and time is different because they read through their snouts. Daisy and I are different. That's part of what makes us a good team. Also, she needs me to turn the doorknob. She thinks I don't notice that the doorknob is surrounded by claw marks from her many experiments with learning how to open a door, because she thinks that I can only see in shades of gray and red. But I can open the door. That's what she keeps me around for. I can open things that contain food, like our house, and the oven, and the tin can. I can open the world outside of our house, where people toss chicken wing bones to the curb. So she and I walk together. She can smell the discarded bones, and I use my powerful eyes to see them from a distance, and then I use my hands on the leash to keep her from getting hold of one. I've got the eyes and the hands, she's got the nose. Of all land creatures, the human being has a singularly dull sense of smell. How did this happen? I personally suspect that it happened gradually when the big cats came. By the time you can smell a leopard coming, it's too late. It's better to stand upright and see the tall grass rustling a mile away on the savannah. Or better yet, wade into some shallow water. One of the theories about how the human transitioned to standing upright is that our ancestors spent thousands of years hiding from tigers in shallow water, sort of weightless, and that this kind of caused our feet to flatten and our spines to straighten. Wading in shallow water, eating sea urchins and raw oysters for generation after generation after generation after generation, you'd probably be happier with a duller sense of smell. And then after cautiously returning to land, I imagine that one of the things that bonded humans with canines is that a dog is like an external nose, but a really, really powerful one. Now, how the dogs decided to enter into this partnership is anybody's guess. A wolf pack is secure and self-sufficient. There is no reason to leave it and go join another species, unless you're not happy there. Let's remember, a pack of wolves is a pack of individual personalities. The pack is unified like a Spartan platoon. It's regimented and serious, but there's always one, the class clown, the drama queen. In a pack of wild dogs, there's usually one that kind of stays puppyish and playful and can't quite fit in. There's a theory that it was the outcasts of the wolf packs who came to live with humans. Ethologists studying packs of dogs in the wild see that alpha dogs could never be pets. The leaders of the pack are like stiff military officers. They are like drill sergeants. As a matter of fact, the leader of a dog pack acts a lot like a professional dog trainer. And most dogs can be trained to stay in formation for team maneuvers. And then a few of them kind of act like pets in the dog pack, yipping and panting and playing, which alpha dogs find really bothersome. But humans find it really adorable because, let's face it, our children don't act enough like puppies, right? Like you come home broken and tired at the end of the long day and your kids barely look up from the couch to say, "So, when's dinner?" But the dog is like leaping and yapping and so excited to see you. It's like, hey, I've been waiting all day for this. So those dogs, like the yippiest dogs in the wolf pack, those are the ones that they say got together with human beings. And even before we started training seeing eye dogs to assist visually impaired humans, they functioned as smelling nose dogs because we're all nasally impaired. We don't even really think about it, the way that our dim sense of smell has shaped human history. If humans could smell the world as clearly as dogs can, there would be no cities, no factories, no combustion engines. All of that would just be too stinky for us. But we can live with it because our sense of smell is actually pretty dull. Medieval Europe smelled so bad that merchants and explorers had to be sent halfway around the world looking for perfumes and spices. Remember, Christopher Columbus did not sail looking for gold. He was looking for Asian herbs and incense to make Spain smell better. And when the natives of the Americas first encountered Europeans, their first impression was not the godlike glint of steel on the armor. It was the infernal stink of sailors who had been too long at sea. You know that the indigenous Americans used to put flowers over their noses when they had to talk to the Europeans because the Europeans smelled so terrible. If it wasn't for Europeans wanting pleasant scents to sniff, the Americas would still be undiscovered, which would be good news for the indigenous populations, but bad news for people like me, whose parents come from different continents. My mom, who was born in Hungary, came to America and smelled this guy from an entirely different part of the world, and something primal in her brain said, that's the guy I should have children with. Well, that's a whole other mystery. For now, let's stay focused on dogs. In her book, A Natural History of the Senses, Diane Ackerman writes that a human nose has 5 million olfactory cells for determining and reading nose signals. 5 million. And a sheepdog has 220 million. That is a sense of smell that is so much more sophisticated. And Diane Ackerman writes that to a sheepdog, she says, we are like sleepwalkers. Like sleepwalkers. We drift, unaware, through this ever-bursting, ever-blossoming, ever-changing kaleidoscope of scent, vaguely aware of broad outlines, but missing all of these tones and details. I think that I'm smarter than my dog because I can write a sentence. And Daisy wonders why I can only dimly perceive all of this exuberant, blooming wonder that's all around me. The fourth principle of Unitarian Universalism is a free and responsible search for truth and meaning. And I love searching for meaning in books. I even like the smell of books. I've really enjoyed the scent chapter in Diane Ackerman's book, what she's found through her research and travels. And I've lately been reading Friedrich Nietzsche, and I think there was a lot of truth and meaning inside of his head. Also a lot of problems. I wonder what it means to be human. And I check in with a lot of poets and philosophers and pioneers, prognosticators, etc. And then I wonder if Nietzsche had like a German shepherd or like a Weimaraner next to him, watching him write, thinking, hey man, get a life. Don't just wallow in thought. Get out there and really wallow. Go find something stinky and roll in it. What doesn't kill you makes you smell stronger. Actually, what does kill you makes you smell stronger too. As a religious studies teacher, I get to look at a lot of different religions, and they're so different from each other. But there's a commonality that runs through a lot of ancient religions: Babylonian, Indian, Israelite, Japanese, Greek, and others. The gods need to be fed. They can produce ingredients, and then humans need to cook for them. But the gods don't chew and swallow. If you leave a plate of curry in front of a shrine, the food's not going to levitate into some invisible mouth. The gods consume by scent. They savor the smoke of a burnt offering or the steam of a food sacrifice. And then they'll generally give you the leftovers, which is the whole plate of food minus that spirit of scent that has departed from cold curry. The god has had the best part of it, and they leave the rest for the humans. So while we may think of scent as the most animal and earthly of the senses, in these ancient religions, it is the most elevated and godly of the senses. One of the things I really appreciate about Unitarian Universalism is that there are so many lenses and perspectives through which to look at questions of meaning. What would a Buddhist say about this? How would a Cherokee see it? And then looking a bit further afield, I also wonder, what would a Welsh Corgi think about this? Who does my dog think I am? We like to think that our pets admire us, that they worship us. We'd like to think that our pets see us as angels or deities because of the things that we can do that they can't. But who's to say that they value those things? Maybe our pets think of us like children who will never grow up, never be able to fully experience the world in the ways that they most love to experience it. The other day I baked some chicken. A lot of it because I've got 3 teenagers now. And as a human, you don't necessarily notice the scent of baking chicken as it gradually fills your house. Then you run out to the car to get a book that you left there. You come back in, and as you open the door, you get this backdraft of like chicken scent. You say, wow, the whole house smells like soup. But for our dog, Daisy, it must be this whole other experience. Like, I put this cold thing into a hot box, and it gradually kind of radiates outward, expanding, until there's a 10,000 square foot vaporous chicken spirit. But the actual food is locked in this metal vault which paws and jaws can't open. And then it's taken out to cool on a ledge that she can't reach. But this story has a happy ending for Daisy. Because the next morning, when I was making my coffee, I realized that after dinner, 4 whole chicken thighs got left out in the pan overnight. And I looked at Daisy and I said, well, happy dog day. Thank you.